So back in April, after the huge news, and it seems like it did not affect at all Luckin's business in China. They were still attracting new customers every day, expanding like normally. In fact, you even see some lineup going on outside Luckin after the news. Because I think people were too afraid Luckin would go down, so they would lose their coupon or something. So Luckin's business continued to grow and actually recover quite fast from the COVID. So that was when I believe the news did not deeply affect the real fundamentals of the company. So what the news affected was mostly the market sentiment. And if you know me, you know this is usually when I would go shopping. So I started to buy Luckin when it was $3 something, and then I continued buying the dip when it went down, and then the delisting news came, and it went down to $1. There was a massive sell-off. It came very sudden that they decided to give up on the hearing and agree to be delisted from NASDAQ. At that time, most people had panic sell because they don't know what's going on, what would happen to their money after it got delisted. So you can see from the chart, the massive selling volume. There were a lot of panic sell going on there. The news really got me by surprise too. I had a little shock, but I didn't sell because I don't like to make any decisions when I'm not calm. 9 out of 10 times to be driven by emotion would lead to bad decision. So I held on, and the next day it went from 90 cents to $2. So then I knew someone behind is taking advantage of the news, of the panic, and went shopping. So it went up and then it went down quickly again. That is a way for institutions to do a big wash sale to make the people who bought the dip or chase in the high to go away. So the whole time in July and August, it stayed around $2 and very tiny movement every day. In August, I saw in their app that they have introduced some new products that look quite attractive. And I think it can really attract young people, most likely. And I like the fact that it has some of their own touch of creative instead of copying Starbucks. So it was definitely good news. But the share price didn't go up at all. It didn't have any movement, in fact. And then there was another news in August when they announced that a lot of the stores had already turned positive margin. But the share price went up a day and then went back down for a few days. So you see, every good news did not drive the price up, and every bad news did not drive the price down. This was when I knew that institutions kept buying in. So I bought in a few more times at $2. And then it shoot up to $6 in October and went down from 6.2 to 3.8. It was super volatile. So I knew they needed to shake out the ones that chased in around 5 or 6 and make them cut loss. It went so quickly from 6 to 3, so people were very afraid it would go back down to $2 or $1. So it was very easy for people to panic sell again. And then for 3 months, it was in a very long consolidation, moving slowly, quietly. And you know, the whole November, the market was kind of in a euphoria. So many stocks were flying. So I think a lot of the retail investors could not stand having this stock in their portfolio that was not doing anything. So they would sell off slowly to chase the flying ones at that time. So I became more and more confident and sure that the institutions were buying in, because otherwise it would have kept going down as retail investors keep selling slowly. It never broke support. It just tells me that someone is there to keep buying. So I started to buy more again in November, around $4. And it really took very long without much move. But I kept buying every time I saw it drop a little. And then it started to break support in the end and selling off very quickly. And it looked very much like it was going to go back down to $2. So I think a lot of people would panic sell there. Look at the chart. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of continuous dropping. Retail investors could not take this, especially all their other stocks were growing well with the market growing so strong. So it would create a strong urge to sell, right? So I continued to buy my way down. And on this day, on December, I look at the chart and it reminded me of the other chart, something that I showed you before. It's Boeing. You see, I screen cap these two charts on December to compare them, and they look exactly the same to me. It's the same way, super long consolidation in a descending triangle, and finally break the support. And it looks like it's gonna go back to the bottom. It's the same way of a long consolidation to torture the retail investors, and finally a breaking support to scare people away in the final shake. But then you look at Boeing after. It went from the bottom and jumped right into the sky in one day. So that's when I knew that there will be some news coming soon and drive the price from the lowest to the highest. Why? Because when people started to sell Luckin or cut loss at that time, they thought there was no movement every day. So they thought if they sell Luckin right now and buy other stocks, they can make some profit there and always come back to Luckin if they needed to. So what the institution needed to do was to have a quick jump from the lowest to the highest, so you miss it. Because you would have no urgency to buy back in, and then you would feel suddenly you missed the boat. So that was when I thought some news is gonna come out for Luckin and drive the price from lowest to highest. So that's why I continue to buy at 3.8 and 3.6. And I even posted comments to tell people to buy right now, or at least not to panic sell at this moment. And then, after a few days, look at what happened. Luckin Coffee reaches settlement with SEC and agree to pay $180 million to the SEC. And look at the stock, skyrocketed 96.5% in one day. And then the next day, it continued to rise another 28%. In 2 days, it went from the low of 3.6 to the high of 11.1. My account gained $100,000 in 2 days with one stock. So it was exactly what I thought would happen. A news to come out of nowhere that drives the price from the lowest to the highest. Like I said last week, as retail investors, we are always at the last chain of information. Do you think the institutions didn't know the news was coming? Of course they knew. They knew when they were doing the negotiation with the SEC. They knew when they were at the last stage of finalizing some terms or details. So as retail investors, we can only try to understand what the institutions are doing so we can join them and not be scared away. We need to know what they're trying to do. I think it didn't matter what the news was at that time. What matters was how they want to use the news. So if we trade with news, because we are the last one to know news, we can easily get burned with it. Because you can see how they create FOMO every time with the run up and then follow up with a quick and sharp wash sell to scare people away and do panic sell. So the institutions, they really know exactly how retail investors think and do not like to give chance for retail investors to make profit here. So is this still a good buy? I think this company still has a lot of growth and potential coming based on what I analyzed. I think it's still undervalued even after such a big jump. I think under $10 it's a deal. My target is $20 in a short run, and in a few years, much more than that. Think about it. If you are the Chinese government, would you allow this Luckin coffee fraud to be a joke for the US to keep laughing at it for years? To put a shameful representation on all Chinese companies? To affect the credibility of hundreds of Chinese companies listed in the US stock exchange? I can totally imagine the government saying this to Luckin. You guys created this mess. I don't care what you do, you have to fix it. So what's the solution? First, most important thing is to change people's perception on Luckin company in order to protect the image of all Chinese company listed in US. But how to change it from such a bad image? Well, the obvious answer is to always be careful and keep the cleanest book from now on and make zero mistake ever. But deep inside, the real answer for me is for Luckin Coffee stock to keep on rising. This is the most effective way to change people's perception on a company. This is human nature. You will be surprised by how much the stock price can affect people's opinions on a company. Just look at NIO, for example, a few months ago versus a few months later. You can see the dramatic change of perception on it. You can see how the media is reporting it. So many people are still hating on Luckin. So I wrote a script on what's gonna happen in their mind. When Luckin is $2, they think this company is going to die in no time. When Luckin is at $4, they will think, who can believe in such a fraud? When Luckin is at $10, they will think it's a dead cat bounce. At $20, $25, okay, maybe it's getting better now. And then at 50, this is a great company. It's going to 10x in 5 years. Buy now. So that's a script I make. You can take it as a joke. So if you want to give it a try, I would suggest you to make sure you control your position, because this is a very tricky, very volatile stock. So your emotion would easily drive you to make big mistakes. But if you have a light position, even if you lose everything, it's not too much. So this way, you can be more calm to try it out and have fun with it, just to see if what I said makes sense. So it's my share of strategy on Luckin to hopefully help you understand more of the stock market. Maybe you will think, okay, Chinese making coffee, is that a joke? Sure, you can think so, but think about 20 to 30 years ago. When Europeans heard of Starbucks, they must have thought Starbucks is a joke. Europeans think American coffee tastes like water. They think Americans don't know coffee. So they must have thought Starbucks would never grow. But look at Starbucks today. Tell me which European coffee brand can compete with Starbucks. This is how a new disruptive business model can revolutionize the old business model. So we'll see one day. And also, the other thing is, I usually like to invest in number 2, because number 2 can almost get the same attention as number 1, because people always compare number 2 and number 1 together. And the exposure will usually help the number 2. And also, because number 1 is expected to be perfect, to be the best, and the price has already priced in that. So when number 1 continues to be perfect, then the stock price would have steady growth. But nobody expects number 2 to do anything better than number 1. So whenever the number 2 does anything better, even though it's slightly better, it would beat the expectation. and hence drive the stock price up. So I think there will be more room for many catalysts along the way for the number 2 stock price to go up. This is why I invest in NIO much bigger than Tesla, because NIO is number 2. And that's also a good reason why I'm investing so much in Chinese stocks, because China is also number 2. People don't expect number 2 to be better, so there is always room for surprise. If you like my strategy and experience share, please give me a big like, or at least not give me a dislike. I kind of took a big risk for this video because I didn't know how people would react. And now I want to talk about my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for leaving me the comments in the last video. I see a few hundreds of you request to have a Patreon, but at the same time, I don't want things to change. Some of you said that you have very good gain after you follow me and you want to have a way to show gratitude. But on the other hand, I worry about things changing and I want to keep things simple. And you guys in the comment had really understood my concerns and even helped me clarify some thoughts. Is that a Patreon can really help my channel to grow as our community grows. I really like the idea of having a community with full of quality thinkers and supporters. So I want to tell you, I have decided to open one, and the subscription is gonna be very expensive. I hope some of you can afford it. It's gonna be $1. Wait, what? That's right. This way, so you can have a way to treat me a cup of coffee only if you feel like it. And you would know this is not my source of income and not my intention. So you would know my YouTube content would remain the same as before. For now, I will set a limit of 1,000 first, and after that, I might change it because I need to make sure I have higher quality of thinkers and real supporters. But for you guys, it's different. Why? Because it's very easy to follow a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. But it's not easy to be able to find a new one and follow her since the beginning and give her 100% of your support. Just this shows you are a real thinker and a real supporter. You guys are here since the beginning, supporting me, helping me, encouraging me, and helping me share to more people. Just look at how much my channel has grown for only 3 weeks. You will always be different to me, and you will always be my real supporters. And this way, I can reassure you that nothing will change, everything will stay the same. All the quality of my videos will stay the same, and I won't try to hide anything from anyone that's not subscribed. I probably won't have much time to reply the messages, as I want to put more time in my analysis and making videos and grow my channel. You don't have to join my Patreon to get more info, because I try to be open and sharing as much as possible. You probably won't even get so much benefit from joining, other than to know what I buy at the moment before I have time to make videos, or some short-term trade or option that relies heavily on the timing. Because option needs to be quick, and I don't want anyone who follow my option on the video and ends up at the wrong timing. So even if you don't join, you don't have a lot to miss. It's really completely up to you. I would completely understand, and regardless, either way, I'm happy. I would be just as happy when you come here and give me a big like and leave me great comments, and look forward to my next video. So I'll put the link in the description, and if you want to join, you can click inside. If not, it's really okay. You don't have a lot to miss, okay? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Oh wait, let's not forget the winner. So we have 2 of you that guessed the right answer to be Luckin, and Joe has the most like. So I need you to tell me which stock you want me to analyze, okay? Thank you. That's it, guys. Hope you can find my video helpful. make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a big like. Thank you.